Happy Sunday everyone, and welcome back to another Sunday coffee morning. Hope your coffee's strong and your breakfast hits the spot. This is the video where we slow things down a little, catch up on the week, have a little chat and talk about whatever's been going on. So grab yourself a brew, get comfortable and let's spend a little bit of Sunday morning together. We've got quite a bit to get through today, and I'm going to tell you about a mistake I made last weekend, what happened afterwards, and I'll be honest, this one's going to really surprise you because after 13 months of taking Mounjaro, you wouldn't have thought I would make this mistake. We will also dive into some of the questions you've sent in. As always, I'll answer these questions from my own experience, my own opinions, not as a medical professional, purely sharing what's worked for me during this journey. And of course, it wouldn't be Sunday coffee morning without this week's pet peeve. And I've got a great one this week. So we'll have a little rant about that before we wrap things up. So make yourself comfortable and let's get started. So what did the Hume scales say this week? Now, I started this journey 13 months ago at 22 stone and 11 pound, which is 319 pounds. And my current weight is 16 stone 13, which is 237 pounds. So I didn't lose any weight this week. So my total weight is still 82 pounds down. If you watched the video from a few weeks ago, I am kind of experimenting by not tracking any calories and trying to do it on feel and the knowledge and all the stuff I've learned over the last 12 or so months. I'll be brutally honest with you, it's actually harder than I thought it was going to be. I didn't realise it was going to be quite as taxing as what it is. It's as much as it feels like a release not to have to constantly track on the phone, add things to the app all the time, it still plays on your mind, and it's about learning all the good things that you're supposed to eat, learning all the good lessons that you've learned over this time, and then putting it into practice. But I'm going to keep experimenting. I'm going to keep going for the time being. My weight stayed exactly the same, but I'm not going to worry too much about that. I used to weigh every day, sometimes twice a day. Now I'm only weighing once a week. And I think that's probably, for me anyway, that's a healthier way of doing it, a healthier way of sort of looking at my weight loss and trying to achieve that final little bit of weight. So that's where we are this week. Right, I made a bit of an error. I made a bit of what you might call a schoolboy error last week. So I'm going to tell you all about that now. As you know, every single Sunday for me is jab day, 10 milligrams in the belly, no problem. It's just what I've been doing for a long time now. I'm used to it. It's absolutely fine. It is my routine. Well, last weekend it was a little bit different. A bit of a family get together in Milton Keynes, and we were leaving fairly early in the morning to drive to Milton Keynes, which is about a 4.5 hour drive. So I was busy. I was up early making sure we packed everything we need, overnight bags, snacks, you know what it's like, drinks. And there was one thing I completely forgot. The one thing I'd never forgotten before, and it was to take my injection. And honestly, I didn't even realise until we were already halfway there. And I just stopped for a second and thought, hang on a minute, today is Sunday. And then it hit me, I'd forgotten to take my jab. Now, considering I've managed this over 13 months without missing a single injection, I've been to America, I've been to Europe, I've been to Ireland, I've been away with work, I've been to conferences, so many different things. And not once have I forgotten to take my injection. This wasn't planned in any way. It wasn't part of a crazy experiment. And it certainly wasn't me testing whether I could manage without it. It was simply a genuine schoolboy error. And the funny thing is, if someone had asked me before this happened, I'd have probably have said there's not a chance in hell that I'm ever going to forget to take that injection. Well, apparently there is. So naturally, the first thing that went through my mind was, what's going to happen now? What's going to be different? Is my appetite suddenly going to come back? In reality, nothing happened. Built up in my head to be far more important than it needed to be. I didn't suddenly become ravenously hungry. My appetite didn't come crashing back, and the food noise certainly didn't come flooding back. And when I got home on Tuesday evening, I took my injection, carried on as normal. If anything, it's taught me a valuable lesson. Missing a dose by accident isn't ideal, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it. And I wouldn't make a habit of it, but it's also shown me that everything doesn't fall apart immediately. For me, that was the case anyway. There's a bit more resilience than I'd probably give myself credit for, and I'll be honest, that was actually quite reassuring. So it wasn't the end of the world. Right, let's have a look at some of the questions that have been sent in this week. if you do have a question for Sunday Q&A, please leave it down below in the comments, mark it Q&A, and it will get read out on a future Sunday video. No question is too silly. I answer these questions as a non-medical professional, purely using the experience of me taking this medication for the last 13 months. So if ever in any doubt, please speak to your medical provider, your pharmacy. So first question today is from Scott F2199. Is there any relationship between your Mounjaro prescriber and your primary care doctor? Here in the US, the telehealth providers review your file. If they think you qualify, you get a prescription, but they are not considered your primary doctor. In the US, you won't go to the telehealth providers if you feel sick or unwell. It's pretty much exactly the same, Scott. We would tend to go to an online pharmacy for medications like Mounjaro, GLP-1s, all kinds of other stuff that you possibly wouldn't get off the NHS in the UK. So it's a case of finding an online supplier. Obviously mine is Bolt Pharmacy. Everybody knows that by now, surely. You fill in your application, you send off some photos. If you qualify, you then pay them the money, they deliver it to your door. They do contact your GP and let them know that you're taking the Mounjaro. I actually had to upload photos again this week when I did my application for a new injection, which I hadn't had to do for approximately 6 months, so that was a little bit of a surprise. But yeah, it's pretty much exactly the same as the US. You wouldn't go to an online pharmacy. If you had, I don't know, an ouchy shoulder like I've got, you go to your GP. So it's two completely different avenues. As I mentioned in the previous video, you can get this medication off the NHS where you only pay for a prescription every month, but it's not easy to get. It would seem the NHS are kind of making it as difficult as they possibly can for people who are obese to get this medication unless they've got 3 or 4 other comorbidities. That's probably a conversation for another day. But it's a great question, Scott, and I hope that's answered it sufficiently. So the last question today, as always, I do try and keep these videos as short as possible. I know time is valuable, so I'm not going to sit here for hours on end reading out questions. I just don't think anyone's got time for that, have they? So the final question today is from Scott Mounjaro. He does have a YouTube channel, and it is going from strength to strength, so check out his channel. Absolutely so driven and so focused. It's worth a watch. Q&A, as you, I'm close to my target weight. I've now broken the 200-pound mark, and yesterday looked at myself in the mirror and thought, I'm happy with what I see. My question is simple. Is it wrong to go into maintenance with the thought of still wanting to lose more weight, as I want to reduce my overall body fat percentage down to the magical 12 to 15%? I was reluctant to set a goal anyway, because I didn't want to be guided by the numbers. I didn't want to be forced into losing a certain amount of weight. I certainly didn't want to have a target that was going to be unhealthy, and I promised myself that my target, my goal weight, would be the weight that made me look, one, how I wanted to look, and two, to be healthy, because ultimately that's why we're all on this journey. I would assume it's because we want to be healthier. Obviously vanity comes into it, how we look comes into it, and how we feel comes into it, because that's a massive part of us being humans, isn't it? There's no denying that. Ultimately for me, the journey is about health. So was always reluctant to set a goal, eventually set a goal, which I'm 13 pounds away from now. I'm going to be brutally honest. If all the weight I ever lost left me how I am now, how I look now, how I feel now, it wouldn't be the end of the world for me. So for me, as much as I'm striving to reach that goal weight of 16 stone, and I still aim to get there, I don't think once I get there I'm going to want to lose any more weight. What you've got to do, Scott, is, and I keep saying it over and over every single video, no two journeys are the same. We're all trying to find a way that's going to make the best version of us. If you feel you get to your goal weight, you want to lose more weight, it's entirely up to you, isn't it? You've got to do what makes you happy. For me, I could happily stay at the weight I am now. It wouldn't be the end of the world for me, because I feel absolutely fantastic. Right, really quickly, before we move on to your pet peeve of the week, I'm going to show you what I've got from Protein Marks this week. Now, I've got a fine selection of goodies, and this is what I've ordered. I have ordered the Platinum Smooth Banana Milkshake, Diet Meal 360 in chocolate silk, some Genesis Advanced Hydration. You put it in with your water and it's got all the electrolytes, all the bits and bobs that you really need in this hot weather. And I've also got another Diet Meal 360, which is the blueberry cheesecake riot flavour. I will leave a link down in the description, and if you use code MDM, you will of course get a discount. So head over to Proteinworks, have a look at the website, see if there's anything that tickles your fancy. Use code MDM, get a discount. Yum yum. Right, let's get on with this week's pet peeve of the week. And I do enjoy the pet peeves because it's an opportunity for me to have a little moan, a little bit of a rant, and it's an opportunity for you to get stuff off your chest too. And who doesn't like getting stuff off their chest? So this week's pet peeve of the week is from Douglas Lamb 8709. Pet peeve: everyone's saying I was too big, but no one seems to be happy for me to have lost 47 kilograms. I can totally relate to this one because people are all very good to criticise, all very good to have a pop at someone for maybe letting themselves go, maybe eating a little bit more than they should, maybe not being as healthy as what we all should be. And we all know where our mistakes are. We all know what we're doing wrong, really, don't we? This all doesn't happen by accident. It happens because we're not great with food. People are not so quick to realise the amount of work you've put in, the amount of effort you've put in, and to say, well done, Douglas, you've done amazing. Look at the amount of weight you've lost. You're looking fantastic. You must feel great. You must feel so energised, and, you know, well done you. It's a real tricky one, isn't it? Because we managed to turn it around, albeit we're using weight loss medications. We're still looking for that sort of gratification, that feeling that you get when you do something good, when you've helped yourself. You want people to notice, and you want people to say, well done, you're doing amazing. People aren't always like that. People can be difficult, people can be unfriendly, people can be nasty. People aren't always quick to see the hard work and the effort that people put in. What I would say, Douglas, is you've lost a lot of weight there. You have done amazing and well done. Keep up the good work. If you've sent in a pet peeve of the week, do not despair if it's not been used on one of the videos, because on Wednesday I am going to release a whole video of me reading out your pet peeves, reacting to your pet peeves. Be warned, I don't always agree with the pet peeves. It's an opportunity for you to get this off your chest, have a little rant. And sometimes I'll join in, sometimes I'll say, not sure about that one. End of the day, pet peeve of the week is for you. I felt guilty that I'd been sending so many and I only ever use one a week. So that's where the Wednesday video is coming from. A few other things to mention. I am off on my holidays next Sunday, which is Sunday the 9th. I'm still going to be taking my jabs with me. I'm going on a bit of a road trip around Europe for 3 weeks. And I've bought a little fridge cool box electric plugging in thing that I'm going to keep in the car, and I'm going to take my jabs with me, and I'm still going to take them, assuming I remember to put it in the car before I leave. Now, what I did want to mention is that the videos are probably going to feel a little bit different for the next couple of weeks, and they're maybe a little bit more sporadic. If I've got a long driving day, there's a possibility that the video might be a day late or 2 days late. The lighting's not possibly going to be as amazing as it is here. I may be sat outside a hotel, maybe sat in a hotel bedroom, but things are possibly going to look a bit different. So if you could just bear with me until I get back from my holidays, that would be amazing. I'd be grateful if you would like this video. I'd be grateful if you would subscribe to the channel if you're new here. There are many, many people who watch the videos who aren't subscribed to the channel. Look at that. How mental is that stat? So the only thing left to say is thank you ever so much for spending a little bit of your Sunday with me. I really do appreciate it. I know everybody's busy. I'll be back on Wednesday with a pet peeve video. In the meantime, I will leave a few of my videos on the screen right now. One of them will be a last Sunday's coffee morning video. If you missed that one and you want to catch up, it will be there for your consumption. I will then leave a video on the screen that YouTube thinks you're gonna love. So if you could check that one out, you'd be helping me out massively too. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will see you all on Wednesday. Thanks ever so much for watching.